Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is in Saudi Arabia for the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting. Reaffirming unwavering support to Kyiv, Italian Prime Minister Meloni suggests India's role in resolving Russia-Ukraine conflict. Mass protests being held across France over appointment of the centre-right politician Michel Barnier as the new Prime Minister. Sabalenka outclasses Pegula to win her first US Open title. Stage set for a thrilling match between world number 1 Jannik and Taylor Fritz for the men's singles title. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has reached Riyadh, the capital and largest city of Saudi Arabia, to take part in first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting. On his arrival, the minister met Saudi Deputy Minister for Protocol Affairs Abdul Majid Al-Smari. He also welcomed by Ambassador Dr. Suhail Khan. During the visit, he is also expected to hold bilateral meetings with foreign ministers from GCC member countries. India and the GCC enjoy a deep and multifaceted relationship in areas including political, trade and investment, energy cooperation, culture and people-to-people ties. On the second leg of the visit, External Affairs Minister will travel to Germany from 10 to 11th of September. This will be his third visit as Minister to Berlin. Both India and Germany share a robust strategic partnership, and Germany is one of India's prominent trading partners and among the largest foreign direct investors. The External Affairs Minister will thereafter travel to Switzerland for an official visit from 12 to 13 of September. The Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, will pay an official visit to India at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday. This would be the first visit of Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan to India as the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. He will be accompanied by several ministers from the UAE government and business delegation. The Abu Dhabi Crown Prince will meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday and hold discussions on a wide range of areas of bilateral cooperation. He will also call on the President of India. The visiting dignitary will also participate in a business forum in Mumbai on Tuesday. India and UAE share historically close and friendly ties. In recent years, the comprehensive strategic partnership between India and UAE has deepened in a wide range of areas, including political, trade, investment, connectivity, energy, technology, education, and culture. The Crown Prince's visit will further reinforce strong India-UAE bilateral relations and open avenues for partnership in new and emerging areas. Following India Vishwa Bandhu, a friend to the world policy, India sent humanitarian aid to Zimbabwe. A consignment of 1,000 metric tons rice departed for the country. This would help meeting food security needs of the citizens of Zimbabwe. India also extended humanitarian assistance for the people of Zambia. A shipment of food grains departed for Zambia. This would help to meet food and nutrition needs of the people in the country. Standing in solidarity with the people of Malawi, humanitarian assistance extended to Malawi to address the consequences of the severe drought caused by El Niño phenomenon. In a tragic incident, at least 8 people died while 28 others injured when a multi-story building collapsed in North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh on Saturday. Teams of India's National Disaster Response Force and State Disaster Response Force, along with police and administration, put all the efforts to save people trapped in debris. State Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath took cognizance of the building collapse incident and instructed officials to hasten the relief efforts. The collapsed building, located in the Transport Nagar area of Lucknow, housed godowns and a motor workshop. The police reported that the building, constructed about 4 years ago, was undergoing some construction work at the time of the collapse. Most of the victims were working on ground floor when the incident happened. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced an ex gratia of rupees 200,000 Indian rupees from Prime Minister's National Relief Fund to the next of kin of each deceased, and rupees 50,000 to the injured in the building mishap in Lucknow city of the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar participated in the International Literacy Day celebration in New Delhi. During the address, Dhankar said challenging times bring out the best in you.
When we were independent as a nation, our literacy rate was 12%. And now we have only 20% to make up. That 20% to reach that saturation is not easy. But then challenging times get the best out of you.
8th of September is celebrated as World Literacy Day. It is observed to remind policymakers, educators and public of the vital role literacy plays in building a more educated, peaceful and sustainable society. India is making bold strides towards not just improving literacy rates, but also transforming the educational landscape for future generations. Here's a report.
The new education policy, or NEP 2020, is India's first education policy of the 21st century. Introduced after a gap of 34 years, it is a comprehensive framework aiming to overhaul the Indian education system by focusing on the holistic development of students, inclusivity and critical thinking. One of its key objectives is to address literacy and numeracy issues at the foundational level. In addition to restructuring the curriculum, the NEP also emphasizes the importance of multilingualism, recognizing that students learn best in their mother tongue. The policy recommends that children be best taught in their local language up to grade 5. This is a significant step in ensuring that education is more accessible and meaningful for children across rural and urban India. The policy also introduces reforms aimed at reducing the dropout rate, which has been a significant barrier to achieving higher literacy, by offering a more flexible curriculum and multiple entry and exit points in higher education. NEP 2020 aims to make education more inclusive and reduce the economic and social pressures that often led to children dropping out. Another major reform is the introduction of technology in education. The NEP recognizes the role of digital learning and has laid down a roadmap of integrating technology into classrooms, making education more interactive and accessible, especially in remote areas. Empowering minds with dynamic content, the Ullas scheme transforms adult literacy, ensuring that teaching inspires, learning thrives, and individuals gain the skills needed for personal and community growth. As India embarks on this ambitious journey with NEP 2020, the goal is not just to improve literacy rates, but to empower every child with the knowledge, skills and values needed to thrive in the 21st century. On this World Literacy Day, India's reforms in education are a beacon of hope for millions, promising a brighter and more literate future. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
And let's take a look at other stories making news today. Senior IAS officer Tuhin Kanta Pandey has been designated as the new Finance Secretary of India's Ministry of Finance. He is a 1987 batch officer of Odisha cadre. He is currently serving as Secretary, Department of Public Enterprises and Investment and Public Asset Management in Ministry of Finance. The second phase of training for the polling staff for the upcoming assembly elections has begun in Doordarshan district in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir of India. The session is being attended by polling staff as well as presiding officers who are being trained on how to operate EVMs and voter verifiable paper audit trails. An enthralling power display was witnessed at the Jodhpur Air Force Station on the occasion of Open Day event as part of exercise Tarang Shakti 24 Phase 2 in the West Indian state of Rajasthan. The event showcased aircrafts from Indian Air Force and participating friendly foreign countries in the static display. Ukraine and Russia accused each other of overnight air attacks on their border regions. A Russian airstrike on the Ukrainian border city of Sumy killed 2 people and injured several others early on Sunday. Sumy lies just across the border from Russia's Kursk region, where Kyiv launched a shock offensive last month aiming to create a buffer zone inside Russia. Meanwhile, regional authorities have urged people in 183 Sumy settlements near the Russian border to evacuate, and that thousands of others in the area had already done so. While Ukraine claimed the killing of civilians due to Russian strikes, Russia claims that in the southwestern region of Belgorod, 3 civilians, including 2 children, were injured in Ukraine's air attack. Both Sumy and Belgorod regions have been subject to frequent attacks. Both sides deny targeting civilians, saying the attacks are aimed at destroying each other's infrastructure critical to war efforts. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the annual Teha Business Forum on Saturday. Meloni pledged unwavering support for Ukraine, in which they discussed Kyiv's plans to end the conflict with Russia and reconstruction efforts. Meloni said Italy would never backtrack on its support for Ukraine, and the choice of supporting Ukraine will not change. After holding talks with Zelensky, Meloni underlined India's key role in resolving tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Meloni's statement comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin named India among the 3 countries he is in touch with over the Ukraine conflict.
I believe actor nations like China and India have a role to play and must play a role to resolve the conflict in Ukraine. The only thing that cannot happen, gentlemen, is to think that the conflict can be solved by abandoning Ukraine to its fate, because that will not bring peace, it will bring chaos. It will bring wars closer to home, and it will bring many economic consequences, all the more serious than what it costs today to support Ukraine. The choice of supporting Ukraine has been first and foremost a choice of national interest, and it's a choice that won't change.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken plans to travel to the United Kingdom on Monday, a week after Britain suspended some arms export licenses with Israel over equipment that could be used in the conflict in Gaza. The trip, slated to go through Tuesday, Blinken will open the US-UK strategic dialogue. Blinken will also meet with senior government officials to discuss issues including the Indo-Pacific, the AUKUS defense pact between the US, Australia, Britain and the Middle East, and collective efforts to support Ukraine in the conflict against Russia. The Israeli military has announced on Sunday morning that it has carried out a series of airstrikes on Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. The Israeli military also said that it had intercepted a number of projectiles launched overnight from Lebanon. The Israeli military said in a statement that Israel's Air Force had struck Hezbollah many military structures in the areas of Aitaron, Maron el-Ras and Yaron in southern Lebanon. The strikes come in retaliation to the strikes on Israel's northern region as announced by the Hezbollah early Sunday. Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets across France on Saturday, fiercely opposing President Emmanuel Macron's appointment of Michel Barnier as country's new prime minister. Barnier was named by Macron despite protests from the leftist France Unbowed party. The left, led by far-left France Unbowed LFI party, has accused Macron of denial of democracy and stealing the election after Macron refused to pick the candidate of the New Popular Front and that alliance, and that came top in the July election. Polls reveal widespread discontent, with 74% of French people believing Macron has disregarded election outcomes. As Barnier prepares to tackle significant reforms and present the 2025 budget, he faces the looming threat of a no-confidence vote in October. French far-right leader Jordan Bardella declared his party is closely monitoring newly appointed Prime Minister Michel Barnier. Bardella signaled that Barnier's government could collapse if it continues President Macron's policies. The far-right leader emphasized that his party would assess Barnier based on his policy decisions, leaving the possibility of a no-confidence vote open.
If newly appointed French Prime Minister, Mr. Michel Barnier, wants to be the voice and the driver of the democratic aspirations that were expressed in the legislative elections, then I will judge him on his policies. which does not mean that there will be no vote of no confidence during his mandate. If, on the other hand, he is a new frontman of Macronism and he continues the policy that was led by French President Emmanuel Macron and which was very severely sanctioned at the ballot box last July, then this government will fall.
And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Former US President and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump pledges in Wisconsin on to throw up unprecedented tariffs. 8-time Grammy Award winner Anderson .Paak is hoping he got it right with his directorial debut, K-Pops. And second day of Ganesh Chaturthi festival today.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. And now we begin with what Trump said in Wisconsin. What is his pledge? Former US President and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump pledged in Wisconsin on Saturday to throw up unprecedented tariffs and clamp down on immigrants. Speaking at a regional airport in Mozzini, the Republican presidential candidate warned that even allies like the European Union would face new trade restrictions if he wins the November 5 election against Democratic nominee Kamala Harris. He repeatedly presented migrants as a grave danger to Wisconsin, warning without evidence that immigrants in the country legally could evict local residents from their homes.
We're run by stupid people. Stupid people. And we found that out at the debate with Joe. How did that work out? And we're going to find it out again on Tuesday night.
While the Trump campaign has identified Hispanics and black men as areas of growth for the Republican Party, much of Trump's campaigning in recent weeks has been in small Rust Belt cities and towns that have few of either demographic. U.S. Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris welcomed the support from former Vice President Dick Cheney and his daughter, former Representative Liz Cheney. The Vice President said on Saturday that she was honored to win their backing. In a statement released on Friday, Cheney called Trump a threat and voting for Harris a duty. The Harris campaign said on Friday that the Cheneys had joined a growing movement of Republicans putting country over party by supporting Harris.
Actually, I'm honored to have their endorsement, and I think that what they both, as leaders who are well respected, are making an important statement that it's okay, and if not important, to put country above party.
Venezuela's former presidential opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez has left for Spain in the wake of the South American country's contested election, according to Venezuelan and Spanish officials, after a day of rising diplomatic tensions. Gonzalez, who ran against President Nicolas Maduro in July, left after voluntarily seeking refuge in the Spanish embassy in Caracas several days ago, as per a post on social media by Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez. Hollywood stars Jude Law, Sydney Sweeney, Ana de Armas, Vanessa Kirby and Daniel Bruhl walked the red carpet of Ron Howard's Eden for its world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival. The star-studded event draws significant attention as fans gathered to catch a glimpse of the A-list cast and director. The film, set in a dystopian future, explores themes of survival, human resilience. Critics and audiences alike are eager to see the movie early buzz, suggesting that it could be a strong contender for awards season. Eight-time Grammy Award winner Anderson .Paak is hoping he got it right with his directorial debut K-Pops. He said that he did his best to reflect the two cultures that make up his identity as the son of a Korean mother and African-American father. K-Pops, which has premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, is a coming-of-age film that tells the tale of BJ, a washed-up musician played by Paak, who takes a drumming gig on a South Korean reality show. BJ soon discovers he is the father of one of the contestants on the show, an aspiring musician played by 13-year-old Soul Rashid, Paak's son in real life. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Pope Francis is scheduled to visit East Timor, a Catholic majority country, eagerly awaiting for his arrival. Currently, he is visiting the town of Vanimo, located at the western border of Papua New Guinea, during his 3-day visit to the country. Pope Francis is on a 12-day visit of Southeast Asia and Pacific. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visited a naval construction site, a shipyard, a defense industrial enterprise, and an artillery academy according to the state media. During his visit, he emphasized on the importance of strengthening naval power and make munitions productions more scientific. And Typhoon Yagi wreaked havoc in China's Hunan province, uprooting trees and blocking roads, damaging power lines and destroying more than 25,000 houses. So far, 526,100 people across 19 cities in the province have been affected by the typhoon, with 312,600 people relocated for safety and 76,000 people have been temporarily resettled as Yagi continues its devastating trial. Now all the updates from Paris Paralympics 2024. India's para-athlete Navdeep's silver medal in the men's javelin throw F41 final was upgraded to gold after Iran's Bait Saya Sadeh was disqualified on Saturday. The victory marks India's first ever gold in men's javelin F41 category. 23-year-old Navdeep, who came from Haryana, started the competition with a foul. However, he recovered with a throw of 46.39 meters in his second attempt, placing him in the second place. His third attempt was a remarkable 47.32 meters, shattering the Paralympic record and putting him in the lead. Iran's Sadeh then outdid Navdeep with a throw of 47.64 meters in his fifth attempt and temporarily clinched the gold. India's para-athlete Simran clinched a bronze medal in the women's 200-meter T12 final at the Paris 2024 Paralympics on Saturday alongside her guide Abhay Singh. Simran clocked with a personal best time of 24.75 seconds, with narrowly missing out on a podium finish in the 100-meter dash. The race for the gold was won by Cuba's Omara Durand Elias, who finished with a time of 23.62 seconds, with Venezuela's Paola Alejandra Perez Lopez secured the silver with 24.19 seconds. The T12 classification in the Paralympics is designated for athletes with visual impairments. World number 1 Jannik of Italy is set to face Taylor Fritz of the United States in the US Open 2024 men's singles final on Sunday at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York City. Sinner's US Open journey began with a challenging win over Mackenzie McDonald from the USA. The 23-year-old Sinner then defeated Jack Draper of Great Britain in straight sets 7-5, 7-6, 6-2 to advance to the final. Meanwhile, Fritz also had a strong showing, starting his campaign with 3 straight set victories. Fritz secured his spot in the final with a thrilling 5-set victory over world number 20 Francis Tiafoe in All-American semi-final. At 26 years old, Fritz is the first American man to reach a Grand Slam final in 15 years. Belarusian Sabalenka beat American 6th seed Jessica Pegula 7-5, 7-5 in the US Open women's final on Saturday. World number 2 Sabalenka triumphed 7-5, 7-5 to add the New York title to her back-to-back Australian Open victories. Pegula went down fighting, however, recovering from 0-3 and break point down, in fact, to lead 5-3 in the second set before Sabalenka came through. The 26-year-old from Belarus clubbed 40 winners to become the first woman since Kerber in 2016 to capture both hard court majors in the same season. Today is the second day of Ganesh Chaturthi festival that began on Saturday. The 10-day festival can be witnessed across the country as devotees thronged and offered prayers on the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. Various unique themed Lord Ganesha's majestic idols are installed all over India to connect with his divine energy. A 40-foot tall idol of Lord Ganesh crafted from 6,000 plates, 1,500 Kamakshi lamps and 350 seashells was installed in Indian city of Chennai for Ganesh Chaturthi. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.